got something special for you today as well. We will be announcing Survivor Series teams live when we're doing this podcast. I am joined by my Drip Foundation brother, Jimmy. How are we doing, Jimmy?
Awesome, man. Doing fantastic.
Yeah, and Zane's here. Hi, Zane.
Yeah, hi. I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
No, I love our. So sorry, bear with me because my things just come on. It's always good to see you, mate. Always good to hear your analysis on wrestling. Very, very good view. Okay, so what we're going to do then, guys, we're going to look at obviously the big stories of the week, and we'll digest them and discuss them as well. Guys, if you're in the chat, by all means, please leave us some comments and get involved. We like to be really interactive with everyone, so by all means, please do join in with this. Okay, so first of all, on our weekly news, we had Ring of Honor owner in millions of debt. Now, last week's biggest news was Ring of Honor releasing every single talent on the roster, and they announced the company will rebrand itself in 2022. There were so many conflicting reports about Ring of Honor on sale. Ring of Honor is owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, and they released the third quarter financial results. There are some shocking numbers, including a great deal of debt. The company press release in its entirety included the below. Consolidation total revenue of 1.535 million was flat to the third quarter of 2020. Consolidated operating income of 73 million, including 27 million of non-recurring costs for transaction and transition services, COVID, legal and regulatory costs. Increase compared to an operating loss in the third quarter of 2020 of 4.216 million, which includes a 4.264 impairment taken on local sports segment relating to goodwill, definite lived tangible assets, and 13 million of adjustments. Excluding the adjustments and impairings, operating income of 100 million increased 39 million compared to the third quarter of 2020. Net income attributed to the company was 19 million versus a net loss of 3.256 million in the prior year period. Including the adjustments, the company had a net income of 39 million. Consolidated adjusted EBITDA, which includes the adjustments of 451 million, decreased 39% versus the third quarter. Now, they purchased Ring of Honor in 2011 to provide original program from its portfolio of local TV stations. They will continue to broadcast archive footage of Ring of Honor going forward, and the plans for the potential relaunch in 2022. Jimmy, what's your thoughts on that? Just go to you first.
That's a lot of money. I think the library might be a little bit more expensive than people were thinking. I'm not big on Ring of Honor. I watch it when I can. I follow it and everything. So, but yeah, that's a lot of money, and I feel like the problem is something that's been, I guess, building for longer than I thought, and it's going to be hard to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I will say is, they looked after the talent. It's very commendable, but if you're going to lose this much money, it's like, come on. And the other thing that's interesting as well is, like, in WWE, I don't know what the contracts are nowadays, but I know back in the early 90s and late 80s, they used to have these guaranteed low side of your contract, the low end, and then you get paid what you're doing. The likes of Ring of Honor and Impact and people like that should be doing this type of thing, should they not? And then if there was the pandemic there or something, they could have been paying the low side guarantees rather than paying big contracts and stuff. I think. Yeah. What's your thoughts? As I pointed out. Oh, sorry, Jimmy. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, as I pointed out last week, it just goes to show, like, what position are they in if they would have done the smart business thing and not paid them throughout the entire pandemic while they're not bringing in the revenue that they're used to.
Yeah.
It was very commendable, but at what price?
Yeah,
now we know.
And you know what was very strange on my part, thinking about this whole thing is, the company that owns them are a television company, and as we've seen with AEW and WWE during the pandemic, they still managed to keep operating and keep churning out the weekly TV programs, albeit in empty stadiums, or in empty arenas, but they still managed to get it done. Zane, why did Ring of Honor not go down this route? Because obviously they've got a television ready-made for them there, and they could have picked anywhere, really. I'm sure they've got studios they could have used or something to kind of keep churning out the product. Why do you think they never went down that route?
I feel like there wasn't as much demand for Ring of Honor as there was for AEW and WWE at the time, right? Because AEW, over the span of 2 years, has cultivated such a large fan base that now it can be deemed like the average wrestling fan in a US, I'm talking about US for now, an average wrestling fan would have these two channels on, most probably WWE and AEW to watch. Ring of Honor doesn't come in their priority, like it comes even below Impact. And the fact that they've gone so much under in debt goes to show like there were a lot of poor decisions made on their behalf, right? And now it has come to this where they have to release all their wrestlers and they're in loads and loads of debt. Now, the question here is that where do they go from there? Where do they go from here? How do they manage to recover this debt, and what happens with their relaunch? Do they manage to get in any of the wrestlers they've released? Do they manage to get in any of the new stars or reinvigorate that fire that it once had? Because right now there are too many big fish in the sea right now. You have AEW, Impact, WWE, and then the North American wrestling market right now is saturated with all these major promotions that are trying to do something unique. So with Ring of Honor, is that appeal gone of that gritty thing? Because AEW has now taken it and put it on a much bigger platform than what Ring of Honor had. Now,
do you not think though that Ring of Honor kind of missed the trick by shutting down over the pandemic because people had a lot more time to watch the product, and obviously Ring of Honor try and use the strong style and whatnot, and they could have gained a whole new fan base by keeping on performing during the lockdowns, and when people had all this free time to watch a lot of products. I mean, I never watched as much wrestling in my life during the lockdowns. What's your thought? What's your thought, Shane?
Yeah, I do agree with you, but then again, like thinking of this pragmatically or more practically, like I understand why these questions are being raised right now, but I don't think that they at the time, as I said, a lot of poor decisions were made. They at the time might have thought that this would have been a good, we have some of the names rolling in right now. Do we get into them right now?
So we're going to go straight into this. So we're getting the names for SummerSlam now. Survivor Series coming through. So first member of Team Raw is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins as our first one, which is not a surprise. Obviously, Seth is a really good addition to any roster, isn't he?
I'm going to make a guess right now, right? Edge is also going to be on Team Raw because can they coexist? I know their feud is over and done and dusted now, but I feel like they're going to run that angle again for a little while, kind of, for a buffer period until they get to Royal Rumble.
All right, guys. Well, we'll move on to our next story while we're waiting. We'll keep these coming through, guys. They are dripping through, so just keep with us, and we'll have a discussion about the full teams at the end when we get them, but we will announce them as they're coming in as well at the same time. So next part in our news for this week in a roundup is what is next for AEW and Impact Wrestling Partnership. Now, AEW and Impact Wrestling shocked the world when they opened the so-called Forbidden Door last November. Since then, we've had several stars jump ship back and forward between AEW and Impact Wrestling, or in my eyes, it's all been one way to AEW more than poor Impact. Didn't really get a lot out of it in my eyes. It's getting talked
unless your name's
about
the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's like me turning around and saying, buy me a McDonald's, Jimmy, and I'll give you the Twizzler stick. So it's getting talked, according to Uncle Dave, Mr. Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio, it's getting talked about like that but not quite accurate Cage dropping the title at Bound for Glory was the end of the story. That started last December. That was the plan since the spring. The door is open to do more, but not on plans in the short term. Now, Tony Khan has come forward and stated that the Forbidden Door is not closed yet, but we are still waiting to see which wrestling promotions are the plans with the new idea. Now, I'm going to go straight into this, Jimmy, and say, if I was Impact, I wouldn't be worried that this door's shut, because for me personally, I don't see anybody but AEW that's benefited from this. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think Impact, if Tony comes anywhere near them with this thought of, hey, let's go, let's get this thing rolling again. If Impact's first words are, if this isn't a two-way dance, then you might as well just leave. And I don't think it needs to be the main. It doesn't need to just be main event. I think we need to see the women changing shows. We need to see the lower card people getting the opportunities that maybe elevate them to the next level. I was talking to the Rohit and during the interview, and he mentioned that, like, how it just seems like the lower talent on Impact, maybe they could have benefited greatly from this, and maybe that could have been something that helped drive the ratings up a little bit more, instead of watching them plummet as Impact just got treated like a bunch of whipping dogs, because nobody on Impact gained anything from this except for the Good Brothers.
Okay, so breaking news on Twitter as well. Finn Balor will be joining Seth Rollins on Team Raw. So Finn Balor and Seth Rollins both for Team Raw so far. Bit strange the way that they're doing this, but I'd say we'll discuss this once we got past the news. No, totally agree with you on that, Jimmy. I feel like, apart from Omega and the Good Brothers and a few little bits and bobs, there wasn't really a lot that Impact benefited from that. For me personally, I would have liked to maybe have seen a Jungle Boy or an MJF turning up on Impact, just upsetting the whole Impact fan base and locker room and everything else. Just would have been fantastic, think so.
Tag teams outside of Good Brothers, there's just so many, and they did nothing. It was terrible.
Yeah. So like I recall that there was an idea of Sammy Guevara jumping ship for a while there, and then Sammy disagreed with some of the plans, and he thought things wouldn't work out. But as Jimmy said, no one from Impact gained anything. No one went over, right? Because when Omega had the Impact World Championship, you could have built a new Impact star by having him beat Kenny Omega, right? And he gave
Alexander.
it to Christian. Yeah.
Alexander.
And he gave it to fucking Christian. Josh Alexander was right there to take the title of Omega. And
think how big he would have became if he would have been the one to dethrone Kenny Omega.
Yeah, and that
it's ridiculous.
Because that's what I genuinely thought where the storyline was going, because Omega had the belt, Impact was gaining literally nothing from the deal. I was like, all right, they're gonna have Omega drop the title to Josh Alexander, and then we'll have a great story with Josh Alexander is one massive now star, massive commodity that Impact has to offer on its TV screen. No, but they give it to Christian Cage, and then he dropped. It was a mess. I can even argue that the Good Brothers didn't even go over, because all they were kind of like the henchmen for the Bullet Club, but they got their ass handed.
They got a lot of exposure though. They got
a lot of exposure, but I think the only notable win they picked up was over the Dark Order, over Evil Uno.
Yeah, well, do you know what makes me laugh on that as well is never forget the Dark Order versus the Elite, and they done the whole basketball thing, and they had
that was a wonderful match.
They had Omega and the Young Bucks had the basketballs at the front and that, and the Good Brothers were just hanging, floating in the background. It's like, you're Impact stars, you're not allowed to have a basketball.
Yeah. Gallows did pick up a victory over Frankie Kazarian too, which immediately killed the Elite Hunter gimmick.
No one cares.
It was
about
dead right there. There was no way that gimmick was going anywhere if he's going to lose to Luke Gallows.
No, certainly not. Okay, lads. Well, next up on our Survivor Series teams, we've got Kevin Owens. So far on Raw team, we've got Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Kevin Owens.
Interesting lineup.
Can Seth and KO coexist?
Yeah. Okay.
Can WWE coexist? with its own management system. Sorry.
God knows. Right, so number 3 on the news was Jon Moxley entering rehab. Now, Jon Moxley obviously has been, quite eventful in his spot in AEW. He's also turns up in GCW. He's loves his death matches and whatnot. But Tony Khan revealed on Twitter this week, Jon Moxley has allowed me to share with you that he has entered an inpatient alcohol treatment program. Jon is a beloved member of the AEW family. We stand with him and Renee and all of the family and friends as he shifts his focus to recovery. Jon is making a very brave choice to get help, and we're embracing his choice and support him however we can. Obviously, on behalf of everyone at WrestleBuddy, we wish him the best of luck and we hope he gets well soon. Really sad story, this one. I'm going to hold my hands up. I've been very critical of Moxley the last 6 months or so. Obviously not Moxley the person, but Moxley in ring. I feel like he's being very stale and just he didn't look himself. And obviously now we know that there's something that's been going on much bigger than any wrestling storyline or whatever else in his real life. And obviously now he's got a real fight on his hands than one that's predetermined. What's your thoughts on this one, Jimmy?
I personally wish they would have not chosen to go public with it. I think because what happens is then you get a bunch of idiots giving their takes and reasons as to why he's going through this. And it's just, you don't do that with someone's personal life. You want to talk about what Moxley does in the ring or in AW and the promotion, that's fine. But when you start doing that kind of speculating on his personal life, I don't like seeing it. So
but the only thing I'll say is the reason I think he may have done it is, one, obviously Moxley's given the okay for it, but Moxley's known to love the fans and love to be loved. So maybe by releasing this, he might get the messages and he can show them to him and whatnot.
I think it's just a matter of the world we live in now and how people are and how toxic people are. It's just I don't like seeing that side of it because it really is just a shitty thing to just speculate on a man's personal life when he's going through something like this, because he's a father, he's a son, he's a husband, and that there's just no room for that kind of stuff in this world. And now it's out there for it. And now I respect his decision. It is his decision, and I hope the best for him 100%. That's just how I just don't like that side of him coming out.
No. And the one thing I'll say on that one is I think it's a very brave decision. What's your thoughts on it, Zane?
Yeah, I was gonna add, I totally agree with you, because people are really toxic on social media, and this is something you put your wrestling opinions aside for once, right? This isn't about that. And about going public, I feel like it was kind of a good decision because for someone like me, right? I'm in my growing stages. I do stupid things all the time, right? For someone like when you have a character like Jon Moxley and who's in and out of the ring, a badass, right? And you see him and he gets help, right? He goes sorry, the reason we're all covering our faces is because Dom and Ray.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Zane. I know you were talking.
In the middle of something that serious, I am really sorry.
So sorry, guys. The reason we're all shaking our heads and whatnot is on Team Raw is Ray and Dominic Mysterio. Ray and Dominic Mysterio join Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins on Team Raw for Survivor Series.
There's your coexisting angle. At least I was right about that.
Right, go on, Zane, as you were.
Yeah, for him, them sending the message that if you need it, get help, talk to someone, right? And I feel like that is a great message to send out there. And it's also like Moxley was kind of slipping back into the main event scene. I was really excited for a potential match between him and Danielson and the slow burn heel turn that will go. But his life and his well-being first, right? He needs to get help, and I feel like that's a great thing for him to do. We all support him. And to all the toxic idiots out there, just stop, right? This isn't about your personal opinions, whether you're a fan of his work or not. This isn't about that, right? Just
take
stop.
the day off.
Yeah.
Mm. Right, guys. Okay. Now, as I said, I hope all of us here at WrestleBuddy do wish him all the best, and we hope he gets better soon. Yeah, so just to go back to what we were saying there about the Survivor Series team. So Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio. Ugh.
Can they coexist? Andy, can they coexist?
Right, guys. Well, do you know what? We're not even going to spend no breath on that one. We'll come back to it and have a little look at it as and when it comes. The more it comes in, the more we'll look at it. Okay. So, number 2 on our list of weekly news this week was the real reason Survivor Series isn't being pushed as of yet. Okay. So, WWE as the biggest pay-per-view, the last biggest pay-per-view of the year. I don't care what anyone says. The Big Four is still the Big Four.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and Survivor Series will
Isn't it
always
actually
be.
the last pay-per-view of the year because TLC is gone?
Yeah.
Good point. Very good point. Yes, it is. Because we got day one as well. But yeah, I don't care what anyone says. Big Four always going to be the one for me. And this is one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. Now, according to Uncle Dave again, WWE hasn't touched Survivor Series yet because Crown Jewel needed attention. Now that WWE's trip to Saudi Arabia is over, the company can focus on building towards Survivor Series. I was told the mentality behind not having promotion to it at all yet is they felt they pushed Crown Jewel hard as they could, and the most important thing now is to get over the new feuds with the roster and let the new roster settle in on television, then push Survivor Series the final weeks. And you put Dominic Mysterio in Team Raw. Well done. Well, considering they're starting to get new feuds in place and whatever else, the fact that they're releasing the Survivor Series teams on Twitter is very troubling. What's your thoughts on that? Saying, go to you first.
Oh yeah, like this is like fun of the build to Survivor Series, and they're just putting it out on Twitter, right? I used to look forward to the teams being announced and how they chose the teams, and it's happening. I don't care about Crown. Like it was a good pay-per-view. The wrestling was pretty good on Crown Jewel, though. The entire like Crown Jewel in and of itself, amazing pay-per-view event, whatever you want to call it. But Survivor Series is a big four. You gotta treat it. It's a big deal. You gotta treat it like a big four. But
You've
like,
got to treat it with
I don't
respect,
think they
isn't
care
it?
anymore at this point.
No.
Yeah,
You've got to
like
treat it with
the
respect.
history, like Undertaker debuted on Survivor Series. Like well, not me, Mark Callis, the Undertaker, the character. But you have these like you have this pay-per-view which has such a prestigious and privileged history, and then you just stop building to it and you announce the names on Twitter, and over the next week, well, it's gonna be Rom. I was gonna say Rom and Dave, but Dom and Ray are gonna most probably try to go.
Okay, so. Right,
Sorry,
in the comments, just from the our YouTube comments on the live chat, we've got Ackerman with Survivor Series team. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. We've got Demon Joker who says Drew McIntyre should be the captain of Team Smackdown. Totally agree with you. I think that's a must. Now, just to go back to the promotion of the Survivor Series, Jimmy, looking at WWE, do you feel like because it's the Rock's anniversary, they're being lazy because they just feel like that's the kind of hook to this event?
No, I personally think Survivor Series is going to be taking a back seat and will be slowly pushed out of the top 4 pay-per-views of the year. I think it's lost a lot of its luster over the years. It's just people don't really get excited about it anymore. They get excited because it's Survivor Series, but then once the build starts, it's kind of a letdown lately. I think 2019 was a good one. But other than that, over the past 10 years, you might have 1 or 2 that were good, and the rest are just kind of And I think with Crown Jewel now being pushed as the show it was this past time, I think that's going to take the 4th quarter as the big pay-per-view from now on. will always have Survivor Series because of its history, but I don't think it's going to be getting the treatment that it has over the entire life of it that it's
Agreed. Just to let you know that Drew McIntyre is the first name announced for Smackdown. So obviously Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, and Rey Mysterio, and Dominic Mysterio. And then we've got Drew McIntyre for the first one for SmackDown. I tell you what would be interesting.
Ackerman,
right?
2019 was the best.
And I tell you what we will not do until we see this, or I will lose my shit, mate, if we go on this in a minute and after they announce SmackDown now, they turn around and go, and on Team NXT. That's what we want.
Oh, wow.
If we get that. I hope we get it. I hope, why not?
Yeah,
I don't see it. I don't see it.
They're NXT is clearly being treated as development at this point. There's no disputing it at this, no disputing anymore. It's not. It has no weight
for one night. For one night of the year, you could bring them in, and for the talent of NXT, it'd be such a big deal to get on that one team, wouldn't it? For one night of the year, give them the chance to work with some of these top superstars and get involved in the. Do you know what I mean? It would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
maybe next year. I don't see it happening this year. I think the rebrand is too fresh. I don't see them doing it, but I'd like to see it. I would love to see it because, like I said, 2019 was fantastic. The build, the whole thing was fantastic. Well, and it was because of the NXT addition to it.
Yeah,
I want $1 billion, but we don't get what we want, right, Andy?
No. As my pops always used to say to me, you wish in one hand, you shit in the other, and see which one fills up first.
It's shit. Yeah, shit.
Okay, guys. So the last one was obviously all the releases. I know we went into detail on this, so I'm not really gonna spend much time on this. Jimmy, more for Zane. Zane, what was your thoughts on the releases yesterday?
Honestly, shocked me. It shocked me. Like some of the names, like usually you have one or two guys up there, one or two guys and girls that you're like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting them to be released. But now you have people which I thought were going to be there for some time, like people I thought they were going to do stuff with. Like, how do you go wrong with Keith Lee, right? We say this for everyone. We've said this for Aleister Black. We've said this for Samoa Joe when he was initially released, right? How do you go wrong with him? How do you go wrong with a guy who moves like a cruiserweight and flies like a cruiserweight, but looks and kicks ass like a heavyweight, like a super heavyweight actually? How like, and he's been released, and you have like even like Karrion Kross gets a lot of flack. I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross, right? I really liked his run in NXT, even though he didn't fit, and he fit the description that Vince would want in a superstar, right? Like that is someone I think like Vince would really like, because his whole physique and his build was kind of lean, but he was tall and bulky at the same time. And you could have done stuff with him, even though he wasn't like 100 miles per hour in the ring wrestler, but he was a pretty good wrestler at that. Like you could have given him a good gimmick, and now he's gone. Like these releases, like I thought I couldn't be shocked after one point, but like WWE seemed to have to outdo themselves.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, as I say, we discussed. If you want, guys, go back and check on our channel here. You can see the discussion that we had last night. Me, Jimmy, and Bam really got into the meat of these releases. So please do go back and watch that video. So next on the King of the Ring, well, King Xavier. King Xavier. And then we've got Jeff Hardy. So Team SmackDown so far is Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, and King Xavier, or King New Day, whatever you want to call him.
Do you reckon one of them is going to be Kofi? Then most probably. Next one's going to be Kofi, right? It's got to be.
No, don't do it. Don't.
It's going to be him.
I tell you what, so much for the Willow character.
King Xavier thing, then he needs to be separated and he needs to go his own thing. And this is a perfect chance for him to do it. Imagine Xavier coming down to like the last two in this. Think how much that pushes him further. Like this is the chance to really push
You know,
Xavier as a guy.
we always want them to do this. Like last year, people were expecting like Riddle was gonna be the lone survivor and he was gonna get that big push. Like, but they whitewashed SmackDown last time, and I think the time they did this perfectly, like one of the best Survivor Series matches, 2014, when when Sting debuted and Dolph Ziggler picked up the win. That in and of itself was a great match. I really enjoyed it. They should cut the brand warfare now. I'm not a fan of it.
No, I mean, as I say, if they
draft-
get NXT involved, I'll be well happy. But
No, the
so
draft
what
just
happened to the
happened.
Willow? What happened to the Willow character as well? You know, we had loads of rumors we were going to get Willow back, and obviously Jeff just is Jeff, isn't he? Nothing's changed.
Something might need to happen for him to bring it back out.
Yeah, something like I get that.
Matt Hardy takes a shot at him on AEW, and he's like, "Oh, you cross the line. Now I'm gonna bring out Willow."
Yeah. Fourth name on the SmackDown men's team, Sami Zayn.
No, they didn't go Kofi. Surprised! I'm surprised.
I like Sami. I'm not
You
mad
know
at that.
Sammy should be the captain. I don't want Drew to be the captain.
Can we just say, just while we're on this, guys, can we just say, let's have a 10-second silence for Sami Zayn's theme tune, and why the fuck did he have to change it?
Man, I was so pissed, right?
Hey, Zayn, we're taking 10 seconds. Shut the fuck up.
I had it as my theme tune. I'll tell you. I did. It was that much of a great song. I completely
forgot they did it, and you just reminded me, and now I'm mourning again.
It'd be interesting to see if tomorrow, when I'm going to WWE Live tomorrow in Liverpool, and it'd be interesting to see whether they have the old music or the new one.
It's going to be the new one.
Yeah,
you don't get to enjoy it, and if you do get to enjoy it, I'm going to be highly pissed.
I don't understand why just because he's a heel, you have to change his music to something that crowd cannot sing along to.
I know. Did they not learn from Nakamura?
But they actually gave him a good lyrics on top of that. I really like the version with
Nakamura still got to keep his music. They just added lyrics to it. They just were like, we're just gonna get rid of the best theme in all of wrestling right now because it's part of the same thing. No, that's so ridiculous.
Zayn's theme is was one of the best. Like it really
sorry to butt in, Zayn. Sorry to butt in. Right, let's quickly before they come out with the last pick. Who are we going for? Last pick.
Baron Corbin. Sammy's a heel, so
yeah.
What do you think, Zayn?
Kofi maybe. I feel like Kofi Kingston.
I forgot who's on SmackDown because I hardly ever watch it. It's going to be a face. It's not going to be Corbin.
There's a Brock Lesnar.
Nakamura. I'm going for Nakamura.
Mansoor.
Nakamura.
Nakamura. He has the IC title. Isn't he going to defend it or something?
Maybe. Or Boogs. Ricky Boogs. No,
I think they're going to give it to someone.
Just so we can recap on what we've got so far, we've got Team Raw is Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Rey Mysterio, Dom Mysterio, and then we've got Team SmackDown, which is Drew McIntyre, King Xavier, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn. So we've got one more spot open on SmackDown, which we're waiting for WWE.
Cesaro
could be.
That's another good one. I noticed with Raw they have one heel and 4 faces, so I'm assuming they would go the same route with SmackDown: 1 heel, 4 faces, and Sammy's your heel.
Yeah,
because they like to do
Demon Joker starting here. Sheamus. It's not a bad shout. That
yeah, a wonderful shout. Yeah,
they just named it. They just named it. It was Corbin.
Is it Corbin? Yeah,
it's Corbin.
Oh well.
That's fine with me. He could be the last man standing.
I'm not interested in this one at all. Unless they give Sammy the win or something, or Eddie Kingston makes a run in, you don't have my attention.
Oh yeah, the final name, superstar names into the Smackdown Men's Survivor Series team. Come on, WWE. Now on to our NXT. Come on.
Braun Breaker, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano.
Mate, injector.
Von Wagner. Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D'Angelo for sure.
Yeah, the best thing on NXT.
Andre Chase.
Andre Chase.
You don't include Andre Chase. I don't want
Andre
Chase. I don't
how can you not put Cameron Grimes in that team? You horrible man.
Because they have completely removed him from everything. There's no importance to him. I love Cameron Grimes. Don't get me wrong. I love him, but he's doing nothing, and I feel like he's in danger of what just happened the other day to a bunch of talents on the next one.
You know what?
Because
Grimes is the best character they had in WWE a while back. And, like, he had an amazing team as well. They had Josiah Williams on that. But, but...
do you know what? Looking at them teams there, it's just, do you know what though? The only thing that I'm going to say is the way WWE is at the moment, and we keep seeing return matches and all like that. It's going to be underwhelming because there's no variety, is there? Do you know what I mean? It's like realistically, let's look at these teams, right? So in recent times, the New Day, you've got Rey and Dominic Mysterio, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre have been at it before. Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, how many times? Kevin Owens and Jeff Hardy, Happy Corbin versus everyone. We've seen most of these matches, haven't we? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's this coexisting inception kind of going on here, right? Because Rey and Dom, they can't coexist. And Rey Dom can't coexist with Seth Rollins because like Seth Rollins teared out Rey's eye.
I was just about to point out Seth has history with literally like serious history with everyone on his team. That's going to play into it.
Do you know what's interesting? Do you know what's trending on Twitter at the moment? Go on, guess wrestling. What's wrestling? Twitter.
Survivor Series.
No.
We want Eddie Kingston.
Definitely not. Cesaro.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. I want
Cesaro's trending
on him. He should be. He should be trending all the time.
Yeah. I'll tell you who else you could use in an NXT team as well, Walter.
Walter was in a Survivor Series 2019 match, and do you recall what happened to him? What they did to him? First elimination. Treat him like shit.
Now, to be fair, if you go back and watch that, Walter had a nice little moment in there before he got eliminated. And when he was eliminated, he was eliminated by Drew McIntyre of all people on like a blind side. It wasn't like they just threw Walter in there to take an easy pin. He stood up face to face with Braun and Drew, and he was handling them there for a minute, and then he just got caught. So I hate that he was the first eliminated, but a lot of people make it seem like he was just jobbed out immediately. And if you rewatch it, you'll see that wasn't the case. He got his moment.
That match also had the first Riddle and Randy Orton interaction.
Yeah, just so you know, the guys in the chat are saying that it can't be Tommaso Ciampa for Team NXT because he's the champion. Well, I'm sorry, guys, but I disagree with that because is he going to defend his title on there or is he going to defend his brand as the main champion?
And then when NXT did do it in 2019, did the NXT champion take on the other two champions? No, he did not. So Tommaso Ciampa can be in it.
Yeah.
Survivor Series 2019 was a pretty good show.
It was fantastic because of the build.
Yeah.
The build for that Survivor Series was what the invasion angle should have been back in 2001, the way they did it. It was perfectly done.
Survivor Series for the past, like before 2020 had been amazing because in 2018, 2017, you had Lesnar versus Bryan and Lesnar versus Styles. These two are like some of the best matches that WWE has had in the past 5 years.
But how well were those shows built? That's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Is outside of 2019, I don't feel like a Survivor Series has been really built well in forever.
Yeah, guys. So we've just the final superstar named to SmackDown was Happy Corbin. Stay tuned for the WWE Raw versus WWE SmackDown Survivor Series team.
Yeah, didn't we like talk about this like 10 minutes ago?
Shut up, James. You go back to Eddie Kingston.
Will we have 2 weeks to build this event?
Oh, by the way,
Oh,
if we still have time, can we talk about like
Bianca Belair is the first name for the Raw for Raw Survivor Series team. Yeah. No brainer.
By the way, if we still have time, can we talk about like the Eddie Kingston CM Punk promo? Did you
Definitely
guys get a
not.
chance
Definitely not.
And how underwhelming it was.
We want to talk about news. We want to talk about news, Zane. We said news, wrestling news.
Well,
That's
CM
not
Punk
news.
did name drop Samoa Joe in there. Eddie Kingston name dropped Samoa Joe because he's the only one in AEW who's got the balls to do so.
It's not that he's name dropping Samoa Joe. He's trying to get Samoa Joe's magic. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Eddie Kingston's the best promo in wrestling right now, and I won't take anything else for an answer.
Not after what I saw last night, Zane. He seemed like he was
smoked
just
Punk on the mic.
No, he seemed so timid. Like, oh man, that's CM Punk I'm across.
Were we watching the same segment? Because
yes, we were. So. Hey, just to make sure I'm not being biased here, CM Punk was very flat in that thing as well. That was a very disappointing segment. So disappointing.
Because Eddie Kingston overshadowed him. Like
because neither one of them really stood out to me.
Yeah. Of course, you're an Eddie Kingston hater. You're gonna say that.
Yeah, guys.
Two of the best.
In the chat here, we've got some. Just let's get back. Let's interact with some of our guys in the chat here. So Ackerman is named his team of the NXT. Ciampa, Gargano, Dunn, Walter, and Grimes team NXT. It's not a bad team, that Acker. Not a bad team at all. And then Demon Joker, he's put his NXT team as Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Walter, and Tony D'Angelo. Again, not a bad team. Yeah. And then Ackerman is said in the chat, Kingston is the worst wrestler in AEW.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
I agree with you on that.
He genuinely did.
100%.
He genuinely did. Saying, honest to God, go and have a look, but he genuinely did. He is my man.
We appreciate you, Ackerman, but
what a guy! What a guy,
I disagree.
Come on, guys, let's see all the thumbs down spams for Eddie Kingston.
No, thumbs up this video, please. Thumbs up this video. But like, you can thumbs down in the chat.
That's also.
I like both of those NXT teams they created. But again, my only issue with Grimes being on one of those teams is the fact that like he's nothing now. He's just being used for comedy fodder. It's terrible.
Seconds on Team Raw is WWE Raw Women's Tag Team Champion Rhea Ripley.
Well, so short. Nikki Cross is also going to be there.
Yeah, obs.
Well, they have to. There's not that many.
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
To pick from.
Who else is left in the tag team division? The women's tag team division.
No, Doudrop will probably end up on that team, I think.
I'll say this. I think the SmackDown side should win the women's side, and Shotzi Blackheart should be the last girl standing.
So what are we saying then, guys?
This is
where it starts getting a bit sketchy now, isn't it? So we've got Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, probably going to get Nikki Cross next. Who would you say would be the other two? Dana Brooke and who else?
Carmella.
Doudrop or Carmella?
Yeah, Doudrop. I think Doudrop.
I think you're gonna have Zelina and Doudrop. I don't think you leave Zelina off this.
Is Zelina on SmackDown now, isn't she?
No, she's on Raw.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, the draft messed everything up.
Yeah. Okay, and then our SmackDown team, who are we going for on that one?
Sasha, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Shotzi, as I said, and again, she should be the lone survivor. Man, I don't even know who else is on SmackDown. Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, yeah.
No, she's on Raw now. She's on Raw now. So
Naomi's going to be on.
Naomi Knox, Shayna Baszler.
Do you reckon Sonya Deville's going to take her spot, Naomi's spot? Like Naomi's originally announced for it, but she kicks her ass or something, and she takes her spot.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, I guess by Bianca being in the main event in Raw, in Team Raw here, and if we see Sasha on Team SmackDown, I take it that means that we won't be getting any kinds of women's title matches at Survivor Series unless
No, you're gonna
champion
get
versus
Becky and
champion.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting Becky and Charlotte.
And guess
Do you
who's
think
going
that's
over?
the only reason why they've left the belts on them? Next one,
Absolutely.
next one for Team Raw, Liv Morgan, made up for it.
Yeah. I
Whereas
thought
So
it was on
SmackDown?
Yeah.
For SmackDown, you have Tony Storm. That's a name we didn't
Mhm.
have. Xia Li,
No,
Natalia, and Aliyah.
Yeah, no,
Those are all
Natalia's
names.
going to be there.
Yeah, Zaya, well, they keep saying about Xia Li debuting, don't they? So I think she might actually get a pop on that. She may get a chance at this.
Yeah, get her in there, give her a few minutes to shine, and then she'll probably be your first elimination. But just get her in there to shine a little bit.
Yeah,
I really like
some
the stuff they
crazy
did
high
with
spot.
the stuff they did with Lana last time. I really enjoyed the build. And
Yeah, I did myself.
yeah,
I
but
did.
like here's what I don't understand. Like the draft just happened a couple of weeks ago, right? And suddenly there's this brand loyalty. Like you haven't been in the brand for like a month, and there's this idea of brand loyalty. Like there should be something like the winners can compete for would get a shot at the championship or something, or they'll be the next contenders.
So I came up with this theory last month, and because I want to get rid of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I think it's a waste. I think it's pointless. There's no purpose really behind it, just other than to say, hey, look, we got this big, dangerous structure.
Yeah,
I think they should eliminate the pay-per-view, and they should create an Elimination Chamber match for Survivor Series. Give it a little bit more excitement to it. You get 3 members from each side. Whoever is the winning team, last person standing, gets to choose their spot in the Royal Rumble. That way, there's actually some meaning behind the match as well. And it's not just brand loyalty, which no one buys anyway. Because as you just pointed out, some of these guys were just on the other show 3 weeks ago. So it's like the draft is terrible placement for Survivor Series. It kills a lot of what they're trying to push. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, now Survivor Series is a.
I don't think it should be about.
Okay, we've got our 4th member on Team Raw. Who are we going? Before you even look, tell me who it is.
Carmella.
Yeah.
Now, Carmella, nice.
No, you already know, you dick. That's why.
I didn't look.
Jimmy,
I swear.
Jimmy's a dick.
Oh no, sorry, Jimmy. No, Jimmy. Yours was a genuine guess. I could see that.
Okay.
Him.
I didn't see him go.
Natalia, Carmella. So obviously he's going, I don't want to look like a dickhead. I'm going to look at this.
Like Jimmy said Carmella, and he was like saying it with so surety, and you agreed. So I was like, oh, okay, so it's Carmella, isn't it? Yeah, but I do.
I didn't say. Excuse me, I didn't say anything. I'll have you know.
You know what? Rewind the live stream and see your reaction when Jimmy says Carmella.
He did mention something. I don't know if he said yeah though. He might have just been like,
Ackerman's put in the chat why Carmella gets a chance every week. She's so irritating. She may be very irritating, but she's aesthetically very pleasing, my man, and that's why she gets all.
And she does her job very well.
She is a good wrestler. She's a pretty good wrestler. People don't give her credit for that enough.
If you watch Carmella when she first arrived on NXT and you watch her now, it's night and day difference, and she is an entertaining character.
And
she is the kind of.
So Demon Joker's just wrote as well that he agrees with you, Jimmy. Survivor Series Chamber would be sick. It really would.
It would. And again, no brand loyalty. It actually means something. So then you have not only Raw versus SmackDown, you have the members of Team Raw kind of going like, hey, wait a minute, that's my opportunity. And it creates that inner struggle amongst teams. And it's not the traditional, can they coexist? There's a reason they're not coexisting because they all want that same opportunity.
I'm going to just say as well in the chat.
Hire me.
WrestleBuddy Gaffer Alex. Eddie Kingston is good in cutting promos. Alex, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, mate.
You know what? The only guy who's got sense in WrestleBuddy apart from me is Alex. He's the only one. Yeah.
No, I agree that Eddie Kingston is a good promo.
He's the
I think
best
what we saw last night was not what I've come to expect from him. I think it was flat.
I really enjoyed the promo.
Well, you're an Eddie Kingston stan.
No,
That'd be
no,
like me
like
saying,
even that aside,
"Well, I saw Adam Cole last night, and it was just terrible." No, you're never going to hear me say that,
Well,
no matter
Adam
how
Cole
terrible it
wasn't
was.
terrible last night. He had an amazing match, to be honest.
Yeah, he did
Yeah.
with
John
one of
Silver.
my new favorite wrestlers, John Silver. Shout
Yeah, it
out,
was-
bud. He is the man.
Have you seen his match against Keith Lee? Like someone posted on Reddit, Keith Lee powerbombing him, and it was just the most satisfying video. I'll share it on the
I'm
chat.
watching it when I get off.
Right.
I'm a Silver stan now.
Right, guys. The last pick for Raw in the women's
Can we guess
Survivor
first?
Series match. Who are we going
Go ahead
for?
and guess, Zane.
Go on, Zane.
Nikki Cross.
Zelina Vega.
Queen Zelina.
Why is
Stick
Nikki
to your Eddie
Cross on
Kingston
there?
videos, bro. You don't know what you're talking about, Zane. You
This is
can't
why
ride
we
on my
just-
coattails. You don't know what to say.
This is why we destroyed you in the quiz last time, mate.
It wasn't destruction. Really, you just won by 1 or 2 stinging points.
That was because Matty was drunk and got the points wrong.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, he did. He did. He did.
We were well. We were well
Yeah.
Because at one point, didn't he have them winning? And I was like, wait, what the? No.
Yeah, like I feel like I just handicapped Alex, like because I was the
Yeah, I
liability.
agree with you, Zane. I agree with you on something.
Yeah. How about we agree that Eddie Kingston's the best wrestler in the world and call it a night?
No, it's definitely not, mate.
He is a very good promo. I will give you that.
That's nice.
Right, guys. So that's it. Our full SmackDown.
Wait, hold up.
Our full Raw Survivor Series team is Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina. I will always call her Queen Zelina now because otherwise, why win the Queen of the Ring tournament?
Yeah. And there's how many picks are left for SmackDown?
All of them.
5.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I just said the whole team of Raw.
Oh, they just announced the first one for the women's team on SmackDown.
Sasha, it's gonna be Sasha.
It's Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
He will also be the first eliminated. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah. By Liv Morgan. Oh.
But who's did they actually announce the first person?
No, they haven't. No. I'll be very interested to see this team though, because like I said, there's not much to choose from. But who are they not gonna have?
Let's drop our predictions in the chat and see who gets most right.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, so who have we got?
I forgot who's on SmackDown.
I've got Sasha.
No, don't say it out loud.
You can say them out loud because otherwise, how are we going to know what they are, Zane? You idiot.
No. Like, type them in the chat.
Oh.
Now I've forgotten who's on. Who's on SmackDown? Who else is on SmackDown?
Tough shit.
Oh, okay.
Figure it out yourself.
Jesus Christ, it's a small roster.
I'm gonna go 5 for 5.
Look at that. Look at that. You
now
stole my
you're
list.
literally
You
just gonna
copied my
copy
list.
me like you
You
did
copied
before.
my list. You copied my list, didn't you?
Seeing as how we literally just caught you copying my answer less than 5 minutes ago, I think that's gonna be a hard sell for you, bud.
How can I type that fast? I didn't copy you.
Oh, there you go. Where's mine?
Oh, look at him. Oh, Shayna's on there too. I forgot about her.
Oh no, I want to. Oh, you got me.
You
That's
can't.
good.
You can't.
I didn't.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't think Zaya's gonna be there. I think mine is fine, but in place of Zaya, it's gonna be Shayna.
I think mine is fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna just replace Zaya with Shayna. I don't think Zaya.
You're not replacing them with nobody, mate. You've made your bed.
If I was allowed to exchange, I accept my team.
Wait,
but if I was allowed to change, I would definitely put Shane in it.
Let's just tell the
idiot
viewers
for it.
what our picks are, right? So my pick and Jimmy's is the same because Jimmy decided to copy mine. We've gone for Sasha, Shotzi, Natalia, Tony Storm, and
timestamp it there real quick, bud. Timestamp it. Mine was first.
I don't care. You copied me. And Andy's pick is a bit different. He's gone with Sasha, Tony Storm, Shayna, Xia Li, and Shotzi. So the difference is that he's gone for Shayna instead of Natalia.
Yeah. Oh, Alex. So in this chat, we've got Ackerman said Sasha and Shotzi and Xia. You're missing 2 out there, buddy. Make sure you put 2 more in there. Demon Joker has gone for Sasha Banks, Tony Storm, Shotzi, Natalia, and Naomi. WrestleBuddy Gaffer has gone for Sasha, Shayna, Xia, Shotzi, and Naomi.
I forgot about Naomi. Yeah. It's gonna be her, isn't it? Like I don't think Zaya's gonna be on there.
First pick, SmackDown.
Sasha
is Sasha.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Sasha.
Who's the
no? I like my team now. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I feel like Survivor Series should be used to build new stars, and that's exactly what Tony, Xia, and Shotzi can all be. I'm sticking with mine. I think
there's only one like new star on Team Raw, like the men's Team Raw, and it's Dom, and that's even arguable, kind of.
And if he's the last man standing,
Alex has just said Eddie Kingston's going to be special guest referee.
Yeah, the ratings will go through the roof. WWE Network sales have
and he'll find a way to fuck that up too.
He's never botched anything apart from a few moves.
He's never.
You know what I liked about the promo last night that he cut was right in the middle of it. He decided to look at the camera and the fans and be like, "This isn't a shot. This isn't a shot." And then proceeded to do one of those AEW shots. I thought that was funny. That was a good one.
Wait, just for reference. He
we've got seconds.
This is
seconds. Right, shut up with your stupid Eddie Kingston stuff. Right, second pick for SmackDown. Shayna Baszler.
Shayna. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be on there.
Alex, stop enabling him, please, in the chat. Alex is putting King of Death.
What's he writing in the chat?
Eddie Kingston will be special referee, King of Death match. This is what we call. Do you know? Yeah, this is what we call. This is what we call an enabler.
Even by my standards, that's a bit of a. Even by my standards, that's a bit of a stretch, Alex. Come on.
It's called Alex is taking a piss out of you, mate, because you know you're an Eddie Kingston idiot. And Ackerman said Kingston died in a death match. Good on you, Ackerman. I like you.
What do you say?
Ackerman said Eddie Kingston died in a death match. I like this guy.
Well, you can't put the blame on Kingston, to be fair. He didn't know what was going on.
What, he didn't know he was going to die?
No, he was just selling as if the ring had exploded and he had been knocked out. He had his eyes covered and his head was face down. He didn't know it's going to be the sprinklers.
I actually commend him also for selling it, even though it was a botch. That's his job. So I'll give him that.
He didn't know it botched.
Exactly.
That's the issue. Yeah,
and if he did, he's still supposed to sell it. So I'll give him that.
Yeah,
but he probably is the one that rigged it up. That's why it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before even the angle itself was pretty good. The execution, obviously leaving the execution behind, the match itself was also pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we've got
completely original.
We've got the next member of our team, SmackDown, Shotzi.
Yeah.
3 for 3, there I am.
I think you've gotten one wrong. Xia isn't going to be on there.
Okay. And how many have you got wrong?
This again and again.
I got one wrong, but I called it as soon as
I
sent my list.
You said Xia as well, didn't you?
Yeah. As soon as I sent the list, I knew I forgot Shayna.
Yeah. So Natalia will get on there because she'll just whinge until she gets put on it.
You know what? I'd actually want Shayna to be the lone survivor here. I kind of do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No?
Shot.
Would you know? She's a heel now, Shotzi, isn't she?
Yeah, and they're trying to build up as a star, and this is the perfect chance to do it.
Here's what I think, right? Like this shouldn't be about Survivor Series shouldn't be about brand warfare. Take it back to something else. Like just as an example, but from a different company, the Dark Order versus the Elite a few months back, when Hangman was hot, that match was amazing and the story itself was amazing. Yeah, like even the entrances, like that you just mentioned, right, Jimmy, the point basketball. Like it was an opening show for I think it was in North Carolina. And what a match it was! Like Survivor Series has the potential to be that, and in the past it has been that special. But like, they just do this about brand warfare. I don't understand why they do it about that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you should, do you remember years ago with like the Ultimate Maniacs versus the Mega Bucks and all? Oh, brilliant!
Yeah,
that's what it was all about.
Yeah,
you could have the bloodline. I mean, I was convinced we were going to get the bloodline New Day, but obviously that's not going to happen.
That would have been amazing, but I don't think that would have gone in line.
War Games.
Yeah, what's going to happen to War Games?
I hope they move it to the main roster.
What's that?
Yeah,
I hope they move War Games to the main roster.
No, awesome, and it would have been perfect to do New Day versus Bloodline. Like.
Do you think they're going to do
again?
War
Just
Games?
Hire me. I have all the ideas. WWE. I'll get people watching your show again. Jeez.
Do you think they'll do War Games on day one? Like just
no
potentially.
I think you're going to get it on an NXT show this year. I
don't think they're
going to. There's rumors that there's not going to be any takeovers anymore, isn't there?
No, it'll be on a Wednesday show. I think.
I hope not.
They kind of teased a 4-on-4 women's angle on that last episode of NXT. And it's that time of year.
Ahman's just commented in the chat there, War Games 2.0 with a colourful cage.
Oh, hell yeah, baby.
No, that won't look part bad.
Oh, yeah. It was just, no. Okay, so we got our next member of the Survivor Series team, Natalya.
Yeah, I knew. Zaya isn't on there. Last one's gonna be, I think. Who's left?
Toni Storm.
No, I think it's gonna be Naomi.
I hope it's Toni Storm. I really hope it's Toni Storm.
Yeah, I hope it's Toni Storm, but I think it's gonna be Naomi.
That's another thing that Survivor Series should be used more for, is to get the people who don't get opportunities that often onto the pay-per-view, give them a chance to shine and see what the crowd's reacting to, like who the crowd's reacting to. I feel like it's a great way to see who's the next guy to push, or the girl. Like
I don't get why Natalya's still there. I really don't.
No, she's just. I think she won't go away.
She has that kind of a veteran role and the ring general.
She doesn't belong in this match.
Ring general.
Like
she doesn't belong in this match.
Respect her.
No. Discus punch. Little bit of a smile.
Cat ears.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not.
I will say Natalya has given Rhea Ripley her best match since Rhea came to the main roster. But other than that, Natalya should not be used in Survivor Series matches. It just shouldn't.
Rhea used to be so cool in NXT.
Yeah, no, she's not really. For me, she shouldn't be there, mate. But hey-ho. It'd be interesting if they threw Nikki Cross on this one.
How is Nikki Cross going to be in here?
She just got traded.
She's a tag team champion. They can go where they want, can't they?
She got drafted to Raw, though.
Yeah.
Did she? I thought Smackdown. So. I thought the women's world tag team champions could go where they want.
You know what? Knowing WWE, it is a possibility. They might throw Nikki on there.
Breaking news: Nikki Ash just got traded to SmackDown for some bread and cookies, and she will be the 5th member of Survivor Series.
Oh God!
For those
how funny would it be if it was Nia Jax?
No, have you seen her statement following her release?
It was sad, really sad. In all seriousness, no, it was really sad.
Okay, so here's the complete women's roster after the draft. And after the releases. You have Charlotte, Naomi, Aaliyah, Toni, Sasha, Shayna, Xia Li, Natalya, and Shotzi. That's it. B-Fab was part of it. She's now gone. But that's it. That's your entire women's roster on SmackDown. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 9. Charlotte Flair is obviously the champion. And more than half your women's roster is going to be on this match. That's how the mighty have fallen.
Interesting. I really hope it's Tony Storm. I really, really hope it's Tony Storm.
But it's going to be Naomi.
Mm.
They're announcing that.
I wouldn't even be mad if it was Aaliyah.
When was the last time?
I want new, fresh faces. That's all I want to see. I just want to see new, fresh faces.
I just want to see Tony actually get a bit of momentum because they threatened it a few times and nothing's actually happened. Oh, Knox. Knox would do as well.
She's on Raw.
Yeah. That was
interesting.
Say. They broke up the only other tag team they had.
What was I about to say? I don't think Naomi's going to get added. I think that's going to be used as part of the angle with Sonya. She's going to be mad. Like, why wasn't I included?
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, you don't deserve it.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's just going to further that angle. So Naomi.
What if Naomi's in the team and then last minute, like, Devil comes in and kicks her ass and she's like, this is my spot now.
Nah. I don't think so.
I think Devil's return match has to be against Naomi. It is going to be the Survivor Series match. People thought she was going to do that with Money in the Bank. Like, many people thought that she was going to be one of the members, one of the participants in the women's Money in the Bank.
They just announced it.
Here we go. The last one in the Survivor Series is a liar. Not mad at that. Not mad at that.
Chris is going to be stoked.
Yeah. Critchy, it'll go for you, my man. Okay, so just to recap on this, we've got in the women's Raw team, we have Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Selina. And they will be going up against our SmackDown team of Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Natalya, and Aliyah. So good team. Natalya needs to piss off back to his Total Divas in my eyes. But they're your teams, guys. Obviously,
who do you think has the more impressive women's team?
Honestly, SmackDown.
Okay. Zane, don't copy him.
All right, Raw. I
would.
I think if you're looking towards the future, Jim, and you're looking at, kind of what you could build from the future from this, with Shotzi being there and Aliyah being there, and if you look at the Raw one, you've got the same old faces in Vega and Carmella and stuff. So I think SmackDown's team looks stronger.
I think if you look at the top 3 of each team, SmackDown's is better, and then the bottom 2 is pretty even.
Yeah.
But I just think Sasha, Shane, and Shotzi are that's good.
Definitely. Let's just see if WWE make any more announcements, or is that going to be that?
First member of team NXT.
Oh, imagine. How the fuck could they even put a women's team together? I tell you what, I'll call it now. Next year on this, they'll have an NXT women's team if they'll have Simone Johnson involved. The minute she gets any kind of traction on NXT, it'll be, let's throw them in.
Next year NXT will be full of stars, so there's no reason they shouldn't do it next year. Yeah, it'll be a brand that's gotten its feet, and people will be more familiar with all the talent, and it would just be stupid not to do it.
Talking about a Samoan, just going a bit off topic, do you think Roman Reigns is still going to be champion this time next year round?
Yes.
No. He is going to lose it at SummerSlam to Braun Breaker.
SummerSlam, I think Mania has a spot for him to lose it, even if it's WrestleMania, the one after the next one, like WrestleMania 2023.
Yeah, well, that's when he's going to be facing the Rock.
If I have to watch Drew McIntyre dethrone this Roman Reigns, I will lose my shit.
No, he'll lose it before next year because of the fact that The Rock will cost them the championship, and then that'll go into their match. Their match doesn't need the belt.
It doesn't, but it'll have it. I just don't think there's anybody even close to being built up to be a threat to Roman Reigns.
No. And the thing is,
And-
like, Hogan holds the belt for multiple years, so there's nothing wrong with it.
And if you think about it, why would you waste a star-making moment on someone who's already a star like Drew McIntyre? Doesn't make sense. You bring in Braun Breaker, you give him a year like Brock Lesnar, and then guess what? You have a mega star in the making.
Yeah.
Like again, hire me.
You change his name from Braun Breaker as well.
Or maybe
to Rex Steiner.
Yeah. Maybe even Gable Steveson.
No,
he's on.
I'm not. I don't want to put his name in anything until I see what he's got.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be great, but there's that small possibility that he just completely
people jump to relate him to and compare him to Kurt Angle, but the thing is, Kurt Angle was an exceptional professional wrestler.
He was a character, and that's the biggest thing. If Gable Steveson doesn't have charisma or character, no, I don't want to see it. I've seen enough from Braun Breaker, so
and he's been trying to wrap his stuff for quite a while now.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do you know what, Jimmy? All good stuff, mate. All good stuff. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. So thanks so much for joining us with our weekly podcast. Join us again, same time, same place next week. Jimmy, Zane, thank you so much for joining us as always. Always a good discussion with you, Jimmy. Zane, you have your moments now and again, I suppose. But guys, thank you so much, everybody who's watching. Thank you for your comments in the comment section. It's really, we're really grateful for you joining us for the podcast. And as you'll see, we will interact with everybody on that writes in the chats. So make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button for next time we go live. You will hit the notifications. And obviously, we're just getting new to this live streaming format. So as you'll see, the product get better and better. And we hope you keep on joining us for our journey. But until next time, Wrestle Buddies, take care. And we will see you in